back once again. You are now tuned into the underground. My name is Mbaya. I go by the doctor. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, you need to do that ASAP. Follow me on all my different platforms. And as you can see, I got my guy here who I once featured on my star design video. That thing did numbers. If you haven't seen this video, go on my Instagram or my TikTok. It is pinned at the very top. I'm sure some of you will find that very helpful. As you can see, we got my guy here, has a little mini fro, and today we will be doing a bald fade on him. I usually cut down the hair first with a 1.5 when the hair is this length, because I don't want to lose too much of that weight on the top. So what I will do first, of course, is cut this against the grain with a 1.5 closed all the way. And the guard system that I will be using is the stock Babyliss FX clipper guard system. So I am using a 1.5, and right after I go all around, I am going to smooth this out using a 1 guard, going with the grain, with the clipper lever closed. So the reason, like I was saying, the whole point of this is to save as much hair as possible. Why? Because after I'm done using the 1.5, I'm going to go ahead and go with the grain, with the clipper lever all the way closed, using a number 1 guard. This is due to the fact that my guy has low density. And if you're dealing with haircuts or clients in particular that have low density in the front, you need to make sure that you go about this the same way that I am doing. You don't have to do it like this. There's definitely different ways to go about this, but I find it easier to go with a bigger guard first against the grain, then go with a smaller guard with the grain. Now, you definitely got to remember, the way I go about everything that I do is very unorthodox. It's more of a feel thing, and I'm going with the flow of the client in particular's hair. In this case, this is my patient. You know, I am the doctor, so my patients literally have to go through a process that is unlike any other. I mean, this is not just happening in any chair now, unless you are hip to these types of techniques. So we have the hair all evened out, and if there's anything left over, I will go back in and make sure all that is smooth. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and open my clipper lever all the way and create my half. So this is pretty much the first guideline that I am creating. You don't have to go about this the way that I am doing, but he hasn't gotten a haircut in a while, and I have to go real safe about this whole thing. So his hair is not trained, and I'm just gonna go ahead and establish this guideline first. I'm gonna grab my trimmer and not put a harsh line in there, but just go ahead and go right underneath that guideline that I just created and establish my bald guideline. And I'm not gonna go any further than that. I'm not going to bald out the bottom completely yet. I'm just going to make sure that I start creating the next guideline with the clipper lever all the way open using my 1 guard. I'm going to establish that guideline. Then after, I'm going to get right into blending, because this is a feel thing with this haircut due to the fact that it's not trained right now. The hair is not trained. So how I'm going about this is just a feel thing. So I'm going to use the open technique, halfway closed with the lever, of course, then I'm going to close all the way. So right now, the clipper lever is completely open. Then I'm going to close halfway and start erasing that guideline just a little bit. I'm going to close all the way and start to completely remove that guideline. And really quickly, I'm going to make sure that after I establish that blend or start to achieve that blend, I'm going to go back to the no guard. And what I will do is not open the clipper lever all the way, but open it halfway or close it halfway with no guard. So it's right in the middle right now. Then I'm going to close it all the way and start to go ahead and erase that line. So I'm making sure I'm working it. I'm flicking away at that line, attacking it, making sure that I start to create the blurry blend. This is going to be, like I say, a feel thing, because when you're going about these types of haircuts with untrained hair, someone that hasn't been in the shop or gotten a haircut for some time, you have to take your time. You don't rush this. Up next, I'm going to go ahead with my 0.5 and same routine. Open lever all the way, close it halfway, then go ahead and close it to help erase that line. Like I say, this is a feel thing. I'm going to be very repetitive when I say that. This is a feel thing. I can walk you all the way through this process, but sometimes the process that I have in mind, or not even what I have in mind, the routine at hand is not always going to work exactly how it should, because you have to improvise. Improvising is necessary. So as you can see, I'm pretty much just going with the grain, going against the grain where necessary when blending and flicking out. When blending and flicking out, I'm going against the grain. Of course, if I have to go with the grain and have that clipper lever all the way open, I'm going for it. And just pretty much, it's all in the wrists. You know, keep a light, gentle touch on that hand with that clipper. Do not hold it stiff, real firm, none of that. Just real light, let it flick away. And you know, with the trimmer, go back at that bottom. And the reason for that is because of the taper blade that's fixed on this. This is why it's important to understand your different blades. In my opinion, Stylecraft has the best blade. This is why I use Stylecraft and Gamma. So all you need is that vapor blade, and it is definitely compatible with the Babyliss FX. So go for it, swap that out. I definitely did that on my Gold FX. It's a game changer, y'all. This is a very sensitive situation. Believe me, you don't want to rush this. Make sure you're taking your time. And of course, right after you complete removing that line and that final touch with the trimmer, you go ahead and zero out everything. Get a good stretch on that skin if necessary. Make sure you're pulling away so that cut can be very precise when those blades go at that hair or strike the hair, or you know, whatever you want to call it. When they meet that hair, make sure all that hair is removed completely. Stretching is very important. This is something that a lot of people take some time to actually master. Immediately after everything's zeroed out, go ahead with the shaver. And the shaver that I am using, this is a Wall Flex. The Flex is one of the most slept on shavers. You can also get this in the bump-free version. These are fairly cheap and affordable. If you're not using this, you're slipping. Definitely get you one. And I know a lot of people probably are hip to the Vanish. That's the newest one from Wall. But the best that Wall has ever had is the Finale. And I know some people are wondering, like, hey, why not get the Babyliss? Yeah, whatever. Look, hands down, the best shaver in the game right now is the Rebel from Stylecraft. But I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, use what I'm using right now because what I had available. Anyway, moving on. So everything's completely bald. We have a blurry blend on the right side of the fade. Moving on to the left side, pretty much follow through with the same steps. There's no different way that you should go about this as long as you achieve that same blend. So going in, creating my half with the clipper lever all the way open. And this FX is no joke, y'all. I know I haven't really say too much about the tools that I am using because I had to kind of break down the fade for you. But now that you understand the steps, I want to talk about why these are still good contenders. They're good to have in your arsenal. I don't really use Babyliss Pro often nowadays, but they are available in my workspace as backup. I like to use my Babyliss Pro as backup. I have all FX line, or the FX lineup is all I have, from trimmers to the clippers. So yeah, I pretty pretty much was really digging these a lot when I first got into the FX stuff. It was the must-have tools, right? So I went ahead and broke the bank and did what I had to do. But you know, it's definitely one of those brands, as in I'm talking about Babyliss. Babyliss is one of those brands, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. A lot of people hate on Babyliss. I don't understand why, because they are probably one of the top brands in the game right now, like killing it. And you know, they kind of are getting a run of their money, or for their money, when it comes down to that Stylecraft and Gamma, because Gamma is on them. Just to be real, like, Gamma has some stuff. Just to elaborate a little bit more, Babyliss probably was one of the first to change the game when it comes to customization, such as these blade systems. Hands down, got everybody stepping their game up. They shifted the way things go. Let's just be real. I mean, I'm all about the lineup, for example. So that's mainly why I got Babyliss, is because of the lineup stuff. They got a trimmer, which is that FX skeleton, that rose, that gold, the graphite. We can go down the list of chameleon. Yo, look, all beasts. And with that new FX1 line, I haven't even tried it. I just know they're coming with it. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if y'all want to cop, you know, go ahead and cop. I wish I could give y'all a discount for them or something like that, just so y'all can go get a good old, you know, few dollars off or whatever. But hey, look, I mean, I know there's ways to get with them, but it's not that deep. I'm here to tell y'all Stylecraft is #1 right now, hands down. But I'm not a shady dude. I'm not a very biased type, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to what I use. I try everything. I mean, heck, I'm using a Flex and a bump-free wall shaver. You know, I do use the Finale on a regular too, but that thing was charging up, so I couldn't really use it in this case. So I had to use the backup, which is that Flex. That Flex is a must. I'm going to make sure I list everything that I use in the video description below. I have a Amazon storefront. If you want to support me as far as helping me get better tools and using my affiliates or my discount code with Stylecraft, everything is linked in this video description below. So go ahead and look at that, check it out, shop, support your boy. If you want to see more content, you want to see me do more reviews or anything like that, if you have questions, leave a comment. If you know anybody that may find my videos, my content informative, please share the video. But as you can see, I'm pretty much getting done. Just to digress back on this cut, you know, we're getting done with the blending, and I can't wait to get to the fun stuff, which is that lineup, y'all. And I want to really dive in deep on this because we're going to get to use the FX gold trimmer, or in other words, this is the gold FX skeleton trimmer with a modified blade, which was of course modified by Clipper Grinder. If you're not hip on them, Clipper Grinder is where you should be going for your trimmer sharpening. I don't really like recommending modified or modifications and stuff like that to beginners, especially because those things require a lot of experience. A lot of time has to be spent on modified blades. That stuff is not for the wary, and I'm talking about you're gonna be definitely cutting some stuff up if you don't have that touch sensitivity. So be warned, fair warning. You know, all that zero gapping that everybody is into nowadays, which is not supposed to be a regular thing. Everybody wants to zero gap. Everybody wants to have the sharpest trimmer, the sharpest clipper. Also, I don't modify or sharpen, or adjust zero gap my clippers. My clippers always are kept stock, or how you say, pretty much as they are set at the factory is where I keep them, unless I have to adjust due to something too sharp, or a corner maybe too sharp, or not adjusted properly, that kind of thing. Yes, I'll adjust it. I will do some simple, easy modifications, but I never zero gap clippers. That big old blade should not be tampered with on that level. As far as a trimmer with a more precise or precision blade, yes, go for it. Zero gap it if you feel confident. And there's times where I don't modify my blades. Like this rose gold is not a modified blade or sharpened blade, adjusted, zero gap, whatever. I mean, these things come close already. What more do y'all need? You need to be careful with what you are applying on people's skin, scalps, their face, whatsoever, you name it, because stuff is dangerous, y'all. You can really hurt somebody permanently. But yeah, we have our blurry blend. I know some people may be hating on this blend, but look at what we had before. My man's had a whole natural, super natural flow. What can you do? I mean, what could I do? That's the best that I can do. And in case some of you are wondering what I'm doing, I'm spraying water on my guy. This pump is definitely over for. I despise these types of spray bottles, by the way, just so you know. I've disposed of a lot of them nowadays. I'm sick of them. They suck. They really do. You know, I mean, they spray a great mist, but, you know, it's just, they're terrible. Anyway, I spray water on my guy because that's one of my secret sauces, my secret recipes that I apply on everyone just to keep that natural look, you know, and keep everything nice and neat. But yeah, I'm just giving him a good old brush session, making sure I get all that brushed into the scalp, onto the hair, get a better control of that hair, and have it just kind of air dry. I do have the fan going right now as usual. I always have the fan going just to dry the skin out, making sure that everything is prepped and ready to go. Some people use holding spray for these type of things, and as you can see, I'm trying to get my guy to relax because he has very stretchy skin, and not only does he have stretchy skin, he is getting sleepy and he keeps on trying to raise those eyebrows. So I'm trying to have him be as relaxed as possible. Some grown men will always try to stiff up their neck. It's just crazy how some people don't know how to relax and just get a good service. Some people just are stiff in the chair. I know you know the types. You know, some people are just unrelaxed, you know, so make sure he's calm and relaxed. And before I get into this, I'm going to start off, of course, right in the middle of the forehead, and I will slowly work my way out into the vertical bars. And it doesn't look like there's a line there, but you don't want to push nothing back on this area. Just make sure everything's kept natural. Don't give them too small of a forehead when it comes to the kids. That is what I'm referring to. Just make sure you follow the natural curvature of the forehead so you have a good, clean, symmetrical line. I am going to kind of overwork or overcompensate to, like, I guess, overcorrect the line just a little bit is what I'm trying to say, because he has an interesting setup here, but we're gonna get him right, you know. And back to how I first cut the hair, I used a 1.5 for a reason, because I wanted to save as much hair as possible in the front. And on top of that, I didn't want to use a 1 guard going against the grain, because that would have been a disaster. I could have skipped or skimmed right over the front, but 1.5. All right, then go with the grain, 1 guard, simple. Get you a good old clean line still. Don't push kids back, because a lot of people tend to push back to where that hair starts to be darker. And if his hair was cut, let's say a week or 2 before, it will be better trained and ready for this type of haircut, or in this case, the bald fade, because literally his hair's untrained right now, and that's why it looks the way it does. And look at that, my guy just going, not caring about his cut. But not caring about his cut is really the last thing going on here. It's just kids will fall asleep. I should be using a headrest right now, and I'm trying to get him to calm down his forehead because my man keeps raising his eyebrows. And it happens, y'all. You know, kids are very funny in the chair. They are hilarious, y'all. I mean, I've got some funny videos that I have archived, and just like this video's been archived for some time. I've been sitting on this video for some time, actually, to be honest. Like, this is not something I just shot recently. I've been sitting on this for some time. I just figured it would be a good one to follow up with my other videos if you haven't watched them, which I talked about how, you know, the FX1 has released, and you have Babyliss, which is still shining out here. You know, a lot of people are fronting on certain tools nowadays. You know, Babyliss is killing them. But if you haven't watched those videos, go and watch them as soon as you can. One discussed pretty much the barber and client's relationship and how that should be a good, strong build up to make sure that your clients returning, and not only are they returning, but making sure that you have them be comfortable with you and explain to them, communicate with them what's going on with their hair, what may happen if you do this style, if they switch it up, if they change it, because there's some people that just don't understand when they switch up their hairstyle. For example, like, all hair doesn't react the same if it's not trained. If it's untrained, such as this haircut right here was in its very most natural state, and to manipulate the hair and cut it to look the way it is right now, this is a challenge. So some people get upset after they leave the shop, and some people don't express that to you, that they're unhappy about their haircut. So yeah, go check that out. You know, it was very informative. And I also talked about understanding tools and hair, how hair reacts to certain tools in particular. It won't be the same for the next person. It won't be the same for even on just that one individual, that one client that you're working on. If they have a beard, a mustache, whatsoever, the hair on the face won't react the same to the blade, or, you know, in the same way that it would when you're lining them up or when you're fading them, when you're cutting their hair down. It won't react the same. It's crazy. So you got to be aware of that stuff, and you got to know what kind of blade you're using, where you should use it, where you shouldn't use it, because sometimes other barbers or rookie barbers, I was a rookie barber at one time, and I used to make a lot of rookie mistakes, and I literally placed blades in areas where I didn't need to put them, welting people up. But that's something that comes with time. The more you spend time with your certain particular blades, the more you learn them. So just to sum this all up before I finish up this haircut or video, I recommend Babyliss FX. Trimmers are still worth it. The clipper is still worth it. And I'm talking about the OGs, the original ones. They did release quite a few different lineups over the years, from the original first release to the follow-up, and to where they did the boost, the snap FX. Is that what they call them? Yeah. So yeah, the snap FX, you know, all that stuff is great, you know. Yeah, but anyway, that's that, y'all. That's a good clean fade on a kid. I hope you found this video informative. Please share this video, follow me on my different platforms, subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed yet. I post regularly, and yeah, I will catch y'all on the next one, y'all.